Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Deb Lutz, also known as Deluxe, and I'm sitting here in front of my restaurant, the Deluxe Burger Restaurant. How about that? So I'm down here in Orlando, Florida, and it's sort of sunny here. It sure is hot here, but I am going with my first MLB podcast. So thank you to Crash for trusting me that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to MLB. And happen to be down here for a conference in Orlando. I'm not going to Disney World. I'm done with that. Kids are too old. Been there too many times. But I do happen to be sitting here in Disney Springs and enjoying the fresh air and enjoying a little view of Mickey and all that. So anyway, happy to be here and happy to be doing my first pod. It's a nice little tidy early slate here for MLB with 5 games going in the early afternoon. And I was saying earlier to Crash, it's been tough for me to keep up every day with MLB. It's a grind, and being on the West Coast, some of these games are starting at like 10 a.m. in the morning, so tough to get that prep done. But I am East this week, and so going to give it a whirl. It looks like we're going to steer clear of any real weather issues. I was a little concerned last night that might be some weather going on in Philly, but that looks pretty good. Maybe a sprinkle or two, but things should be dry at game time. And, doesn't really look like there's anything else. Washington as well, sprinkle or two, but I think they're going to play through it. Oakland at Cleveland, totally beautiful. Boston, Minnesota, no worries there. And same thing for the later game this afternoon out in California. So I think we're steering clear of the weather, which is great, and means we've got all 5. Off my iPhone. All right, am I back on? All right, so thanks. Bye. All right. Sorry about those difficulties. It's not as easy when you're not sitting in front of your computer, and I am remote here. So, but we'll get back to it. If you guys bear with me, I'll be doing a lot of things off my iPhone now because I don't want to switch screens at all and lose you guys again. Um, so anyway, with that weather aside, let's take a look at the games that we've got going on today. I believe just about all of the lineups are in. So we'll go through and we'll talk about who's playing, who's sitting, starting pitchers. Then I'll get into who I like at the end of things. So first game up, we've got Arizona at Washington. It's in Washington, good hitting ballpark. And we've got Tommy Henry, the lefty, going for Arizona against Jake Urban, who is a rookie, has not been playing very well. He hasn't been pitching very well this year. Going for Washington. There's no line yet for this game, which is kind of interesting given that it's starting in less than 2 hours. But we do have confirmed lineups. So you've got Perdomo leading things off for Arizona as he's been taking over now that they've sent Josh Rojas down. He's going to be leading off. Ketel Marte batting second. The amazing Carroll hitting third. We've got Walker batting cleanup. Gurriel, fifth, who's been slumping a little bit after a fantastic start. Rivera, who's now also playing full time, given Rojas being out. Alec Thomas gets the start in center today, and Nick Ahmed at shortstop. And Carson Kelly is back, so something to watch out for. He's really been out most of the season. I like him. I like his hitting. I'm not sure today if I'm going to go with him, but in general, he's somebody low priced and somebody to watch out for going forward. On the Washington side of things, Lane Thomas leads things off. He's been amazing for Washington. Luis Garcia might be a little secret squirrel of mine today. Candelario bats third. Stone Garrett is getting the start in left field today. Ruiz is the DH. Chavez over at first. Riley Adams is catching. And rounding things out are Derek Hill and CJ Abrams. Not exactly a stellar, lineup, but they've been getting it done. Washington with like their minimum salary guys have really been getting it done. So that's the first game that we've got going on. Second game is Atlanta at Philadelphia. A bit of a pitching matchup with Bryce Elder on the mound for Atlanta, and for Philadelphia, they're going with Aaron Nola, who got delayed yesterday. And so both great pitchers have really good stuff. So I expect this to be a pretty low-scoring game. I do think there's a couple of hot spots there on both sides, but overall, I think the pitchers are going to get it done in this one. We've got Acuna leading things off for Atlanta, followed by Ozzie Albies. Austin Riley batting third, and I've been really disappointed in him this year. He's really slumped a bit. Possibly today is a breakout day. You've got Ozuna as DH, Matt Olson at first, Travis d'Arnaud is the catcher, and rounding things out at the bottom of the lineup, you've got Rosario, Arcia, and Michael Harris. Over on the Philly side, typical lineup leading things off with Schwarber, Trey Turner, who's starting to turn things around a little bit, second at shortstop, Castellanos, who's really been the bright light back to his old ways of hitting, batting third. Harper DHing. Realmuto will catch today. Bryson Stott, the second baseman. Alec Baum, I really like his play a lot. He's at third today. Cody Clemens is the first baseman, and rounding things out is Brandon Marsh at center field. So, like I said, I expect this one to be a little lower scoring, but I'm going to pop in a couple of thoughts as we go along. So Oakland-Cleveland is the third game, just starting 5 minutes later. This is an interesting one. You got J.P. Sears, who really is just a very average pitcher, playing a little bit better of late, and against Logan Allen, who kind of the opposite. He was filling in with a couple of Cleveland pitchers injured, has had a really nice season so far, but the last two starts have not been too great for him. This is projected to be an over-under of 8. So again, sort of low scoring. This one surprises me. I mean, although, you have a pretty average offensive team in Cleveland and a pretty anemic team in Oakland, but I just don't think the pitching is going to be that great here. So, possibly a little over on this one. For Oakland, leading things off is Esteury Ruiz, who he is just a speedster, and really nice from a pricing standpoint today. Aldamas Diaz at shortstop, Ryan Noda at first. Carlos Perez is going to do the catching. Decent catcher offensively, and again, pretty inexpensive. I mean, all the Oakland A's are really inexpensive. So if you're looking to really differentiate your lineup and assume that they're going to hit Logan Allen because he's been pretty hittable the last couple of games, it's a pretty inexpensive way to go. Brett Rooker, followed by Jace Peterson, Jonah Bride, Langeliers is the DH, and Tony Kemp is the left fielder. On the Cleveland side of things, you got a pretty nice hitting lineup, and they've been playing pretty well recently. Stephen Kwan is the left fielder leading things off. I like him a lot. Ahmed Rosario, pretty solid shortstop. Jose Ramirez, I mean, you can't say enough about him. He's been fantastic. He's at third base. Josh Naylor, he was slumping big time at the end of the season, but has really picked things up. He is the DH. Josh Bell is batting fifth, and he's the first baseman, followed by Jimenez at second. Arias is the right fielder. Miles Straw, and then Gallagher is the catcher today. So, we've got 2 games left. I'm going to check the chat real quickly, see if anything's going on there. I don't want to use you guys. Hey, we got a lot going on here. All right, let's see what's going on. We got King of Smack in the chat. It's great to. Oh, you like my backdrop? I know. Pretty cool, huh? Don't you feel like you're at Disney? I will say hi to Mickey, boy from Cali. Great to see you there. And uh, King of Smack is living the good life exactly. I'm at a conference. I'm sort of dodging it right now for this, so happy that I am. I think I got the good end of the deal. And You love the Brave stack against Nola. Wow. Cunha, Ozuna, and Olsen and Harris. I don't know. I don't love the lefties. Ozuna, I think so. I'm not excited about Olsen, but I do love Acuna, and I love Riley. I'll be honest today. Riley is, he hasn't been playing great, as I've said this year, but he's batting over 400 against Nola. So I like him a lot. So surprised that Atlanta implied run total over 4.5. Yeah, me too. Me too. I actually think that Nola's going to be pretty solid today. I don't expect him to actually do that much. I would not be going for a Brave stack. Certainly not as only in a GPP maybe, because it might be a little bit low on. They're expensive and up against a good pitcher. Boy from Cali thinks Rooker's gonna hit one today. Yeah, I mean, you got a couple of pitchers there who give up home runs. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think there's going to be a home run from the other side as well. I think Sears gives up like 2 home runs a game. King of Smacks is Washington, Arizona, and Cleveland. Look like the way to go is ownership. Just depends on how you stack them. I'll talk a little bit about my picks towards the end. And he's going all in here. Ryan and Allen as SP1 and SP2. All right. So, hey, Joe Kazin, good to see you. How's it going? And Josh thinks Arizona's going to score 10 runs today. You know what? I don't know if they'll score 10, but I'm right there with you. They are certainly my top stack. All right. So back to the games. I'll cover what's going on in the last 2 games, then I'll go into my picks. Boston, Minnesota. You have Brandon Walter. Now they're listing him as the starter. Originally they had I can't think of his name. Another guy starting, and Walter was going to come in after that. But the other Garza, right? That's right. So Justin Garza was going to start, and then Walter was going to come in. Now they're showing Walter potentially as starting. But either way, I think it's a great opportunity for Minnesota. Minnesota's not the best hitting team. They have been doing a little bit better of late, but you're going up against a guy who's being pulled up from the minors, and I think he had an over 6 ERA in the minors. So not a lot there. They just pulled Verdugo, I think, for personal reasons at the top of the lineup. So they're going to be starting with Jarren Duran. Could be a little bit sneaky if people weren't necessarily expecting him. He's a good hitter and up at the top of that strong hitting lineup. I love the Boston lineup. Now, it is up against Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan's been really consistent this year, although tailing off a little bit recently. And I just don't think that he's got the stuff to keep Boston from hitting, particularly the top of that batting order with Duran, Turner, and Yoshida, which I like a lot. Joe Ryan is actually my fave pitcher today. Again, I'll go into that a little bit more, but again, he just hasn't been as strong as he was early in the season, and the Boston hitters are fierce. So, rounding it out after Yoshida is Devers at cleanup third base. Adam Duvall, who's back in the lineup these days, right field. Casas is the first baseman. Connor Wong is going to be catching. You have a new guy, I think it's his second game, David Hamilton, at shortstop. So again, could be someone really low owned. He's really inexpensive. And then Pablo Reyes rounding things out at second base. Over on Minnesota, I do like this lineup. You got this young guy, Julien, at second base, leading things off. Cray has been in an awful slump this whole season. He's batting second at shortstop. Kirilloff, the first baseman. Brian Buxton, who's back, and I think I think he had a fantastic game last game. He's starting to hit, so I'd watch out for him today. Max Kepler, lefty on lefty. Royce Lewis, who has really been showing some nice hitting since he's been called up. Ryan Jeffers is the catcher, Willie Castro, and then rounding things out at center field with Michael Taylor, who has not been hitting very well this year. All right, last game. We've got San Diego, San Francisco, so battle of the California teams. Blake Snell is getting the start. He's only 3-6, but man, his last 4 games have been fantastic. He let's see right here. Yeah, he's had 54 fantasy points in his last 4 starts. So that's pretty impressive. So maybe he's figuring something out. And he is up against Alex Wood, who's back from the DL and really hasn't shown to have that much great stuff this year. He's pretty consistent, but very consistently average. We do not have the starting lineups right now for this game. The over-under is 8, so again, another low-scoring game. I mean, really, there's no line for the Boston game, and there's no line for the Arizona game. All the other games are 8 or 8.5 runs, so pretty low scoring, which is surprising because honestly, the pitching today is not that fantastic overall. So some potential opportunity on these over-unders. So with that, I'm going to go now to talk a little bit about who I like from this game. The way we like to do things at Coach Talk is to start out with the pitchers and talk about who we like in terms of top pitchers, who our value pitchers are, and who we want to fade. And then I'll get into BVP and home run call and round things out with some stacks. All right, so I'm going to head back to the chat again just to see what's going on there. We've got a lot of comments in there. All right, so cool. All right, so one sec. Okay. All right, here we go. So I'm going to talk about pitchers first. I mentioned Blake Snell. He is the most expensive pitcher for the most part. He's 10-1 and 10-8 on DK and Fanduel. That 54 in his last 4 starts is not an aberration. I mean, we know Blake Snell from a few years ago. I mean, he has great stuff. He has a 30% strikeout rate, so that's really high. And he's up against a team that strikes out 25% of the time. So I'm looking for Snell to get a large number of strikeouts, and he is one of my top pay-up options today. If you go with Elder, you could save some money. He's 9,700 and 9,900. He pitches even better on the road. He hasn't faced Philly, so tough to say what he's done against them, but he's solid, and he doesn't give up a lot of home runs either. So, if you're, looking over at Atlanta and saying, hey, are you going to get some home runs out of them? If you're looking at Philly, saying you're going to get some home runs out of them because of their lineup, Elder does not give up a lot of home runs. So I like him as well. Those are my 2 top pay-up options. And as I mentioned, Joe Ryan is my fade. He's really been fading a bit. And with Boston, they are just such a tough hitting team. I just don't see him cranking out the value that you're going to need given how expensive he is. So I'm going to fade him. I'm also not really interested in Nola. He's been great at times this season, but he's also thrown some duds. And against Atlanta, I don't think this is going to be a horrible outing for him. But again, just not someone that I'm willing to pay up for. From a value standpoint, you could look at a JP Sears, who is playing a little bit better, but I do like the Guardians team against him. My value play today is going to be Logan Allen. He's struggled against in his last 2 starts, but they've been against really good offensive teams, and I just think that this is a bounce-back game for him against the A's. I just don't think the A's have a lot going on in the offensive the offensive chamber. So I'm going for Logan Allen today to hit value. All right. So that's it on the pitchers. I think any other talk about pitchers? I don't think we got any talk in the chat about pitchers. King of Smack says, right, he likes Ryan and Allen as SP1 and SP2. So I'm with you on Allen. Ryan is my fade, so not going there. And the rest, I think, here, Coach Doc, I don't know about Brandon Walter, but Minnesota hasn't been hitting the ball well as of late. Exactly. Definitely something that I'm looking for in terms of maybe a GPP option, because they might not be as um, looked at as somebody like a Cleveland or, I mean, certainly Arizona. But I think kind of interesting if you look at sort of couple of those hitters like Buxton in particular coming back. Kepler's back now. I think that helps a little bit. All right, so let's get into talking about some of the batters, since it looks like that's what everyone's talking about in the chat. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about some of the players that I really like. Let's go into BVP. Okay, so we talked about Austin Riley. So he is slumping a bit, but he's 429 versus Nola, and that's with a lot of representation. He's had 18 hits, including 3 homers. He's my VVP today. I think he continues to hit well against Nola, and I think he's priced pretty fairly. He's kind of middle of the pack, so I like him a lot today. My home run call is going to be Carroll versus Jake Irvin. I mean, the guy's been on fire. He's amazing. He does it all. Um, Jake Irvin has given up home runs, not a great pitcher. I think, Crash said they're going to score 10 runs. I think Carroll's a big part of that offense. I like him a lot in this matchup, and I just think he's going to get it done. I think he's kind of I mean, he's sort of a mid home run hitter. He's not a huge home run hitter, but great hitting ballpark. So he is my home run call today. I'll tell you, the sneaky stack for me, as we get into stacks, the sneaky stack for me is Washington. I think all the attention in the Arizona game is going to be on Arizona. And Washington, with the players that they have, their offense has been great. And I just think the top of their order is pretty good. Henry's very hittable. And I think that there's not going to be a lot of focus on them. I love Lane Thomas. I absolutely love Garcia. In fact, Garcia is going to be in all my lineups given his pricing and the way he's been hitting the ball, and specifically hitting the ball against Henry. He's been very successful against Henry. And then I really like Garrett Stone today. I think he's going to be a little sneaky, stacking those 3 super cheap, and might be a very interesting play from a GPP standpoint. So they are my sneaky stack. The obvious stack, in my opinion, is Arizona. The top of the batting order in particular, Perdomo, and Marte and Carroll. Love those 3 guys. And then you could look down the order a little bit. There's definitely a little bit of value there. I was hoping McCarthy would play today, but he's not. But you could look at Alec Thomas in center field, who's almost mid-salary on DK. He hasn't been hitting the ball that great, but I like the lefty bats against Irwin. So he would be probably the 4th guy that I would put into my stack there. So those are 2 of my stacks. The other ones that I like, talked about Minnesota. I do like the combination of Buxton. I like Julian, their leadoff guy. Buxton, Kepler, and Lewis. That would be the 4 guys that I'd be targeting in Minnesota again, versus kind of a weak, weak pitchers on the other side of things. And then San Diego, another good stack. Wood has a 6 ERA at home. And, when you look at like a Bogart, a Tatis, Machado, and even Sanchez, although Sanchez started out really hot, but he's really cooled off and he's a little bit expensive today. But a San Diego would be a stack that I'm interested in a little further down. So, all right, before finishing things up, let's see what everyone else says in the chat. We talked about, so Boy from Cali says Rooker's going to hit a home run today. Okay. I may not be going for that only because Logan Allen is my value pitcher, but I kind of like that one. Let's see. Minnesota. All right, King of Smack likes Minnesota, as well as Correa, Buxton, Kepler. Yep, that's what I like as well. I mean, Correa's been so slumping, but his price is attractive to keep him in there. And King of Smack says Ramirez, Gurriel, Correa, Stone Garrett are there. His homer. Hey, you got Stone Garrett there too. Sweet. All right, look at that. So Stone Garrett. I'm intrigued by that. Homer pick on Stone Garrett. That would be something. I like Ramirez a lot as a home run pick. Yeah, that was kind of my backup HR call actually. If Walter's the main pitcher, he'll crush. King of Smack says, I think Stone Garrett hits a grand slam. Wow. I like that call. I mean, it is definitely bold. I'd play that one. If you could find somewhere you can play that, the odds have to be pretty stacked in your favor on that one. Doug L likes Stone as well. And let's see. Justin Turner or Walker first. I'm going Justin Turner. I think he's just an incredible hitter. I think Walker, Walker's a little hit or miss. I think the guys around Walker are going to play better than Walker today. I like Justin Turner at first base today, as well as Naylor. I like Josh Naylor as well. King of Smack says we got to get Deb, Crash, and Coach all back on the show. They've been living the good life. I don't know about that. And Coach has been working too hard. I think that's been his issue. But it would be fun to have all three on at the same time. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. I think I'm through most of my my notes and my thoughts. So again, Snell and Elder pan pitchers. Logan Allen value. I'm fading Joe Ryan. My BVP is Riley. Home run calls. Carroll. Do you like Ramirez? He was my backup, and I'll tell you, I Stone Garrett is an interesting one as well because Washington is my sneaky stack. As well as Arizona and Minnesota. So that rounds it out, guys. And unless you've got anything more for me in the chat, I'm going to check back one more time. See what we got. I think that's it, folks. So unless I'm frozen, I think that's it. So hey, listen, it's been a lot of fun. I enjoy doing a deeper dive on baseball. It's I don't do it all the time, and it's been fun. I'm going to be doing it weekly on Thursdays, so tune in on Thursdays. I don't know if they're all going to be daytime slates. Probably not, although I get a lot of daytime games on Thursdays. But I hope to help you guys out to win some big money, and you guys can help me out too. So. King of Smack says he thinks Snell is going to crush. I like that too. All right, awesome. Doug L. Woo on Yahoo. What's on Yahoo? I don't know. Anyway, for Justin Turner or Walker, I don't know. I'll have to take a look at that separately. I have not spent a lot of time. I got to tell you guys, I'm not playing Yahoo these days. So I will be posting lineups for Fanduel and Draftkings. And I am sure that Crash or Doug will be taking care of you guys on Yahoo. So with that, I'm going to say ta-ta. And I don't know, I should sing like some Disney song or something, right? As I get out of here. But you guys have a great day. And we'll be back tomorrow as we look to crush it on DFS Coach Talk.